guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm your host Sean, and today we are going to talk about the Elementals. The Elementals are going to be the villains in Spider-Man Far From Home. Mysterio, he's got to be the main villain. I think he's got to be the main villain. I already did a history video on him, so go check that out, please. So yeah, anyway, but we're going to talk about the Elementals, who are villains in this film. Here's the thing about the Elementals. The Elementals in Spider-Man Far From Home will be different from the comics. So like, I'll give you like a brief history on who the Elementals are in the comics. Then I'll explain what Marvel changed and why they changed them for Spider-Man Far From Home, and explained the origins of Molten Man and Hydron Man, who are the members of the Elementals in the film. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. In the comics, the Elementals are 4 extra-dimensional hemorrhoids that have elemental powers. So you have Hellfire, who's the leader of the group and controls fire and all that stuff. Hydron, who controls water. Zephyr, who controls the wind, and Magnum, who controls the earth and stuff. So those are the elementals in the comics. In the film, it is different. It is different. In the films, they have chosen other characters to be the elementals. Because Spider-Man, he has a big rogues gallery, a big villains. He has a lot of villains that do have elemental powers. So I guess they're using them to be the elementals in the film. They just took that name, so yeah. But, the elementals they're going with is Molten Man. Molten Man is the fire dude. Hydron Man is the water. And it's rumored that Sandman and Whirlwind will be a part of this film. So yeah, that's just theories right now, so yeah. But I'll give you the origin of Molten Man and Hydro Man. Sandman, I don't know if it's Sandman, because Sandman is such a big Spider-Man villain, so I'm not completely sure if that's Sandman. I don't think it is, because he's a big Spider-Man villain, so that he should have a bigger role. But if it is, then I hope they keep him alive, whatever. If it is him, then I guess I'll do a video on him, whatever. Whirlwind, I don't really much care for in the comics, whatever. But I don't know, maybe this film will change your mind, so yeah. But without further ado, let's get into the origins of Molten Man first, then Hydro Man. Molten Man was created by the two legends Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, and he was first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man issue 28 in September in 1965. Molten Man's real name is Mark Raxton, and he worked in New York City as a lab assistant for Dr. Smythe. Smythe and Raxton made a metal liquid alloy. They created a metal liquid alloy, and Raxton wanted to take the liquid metal alloy and use it for himself to become rich. He stole it. He tried to steal it right in front of Smythe, and Smythe tried to stop him and tells him that it's untested and something could go wrong. But Mark Raxton punches him, and the two start fighting. While running, Mark trips Smythe, and then Mark says to Smythe, "You can make more of this. You can make more of the metal liquid alloy, because you will never see this patch again." But the jar that Raxton was holding, that has the liquid metal alloy in it, was so heavy that it caused him to fall on the ground, which the jar then hits the wall, shattering and spilling all over. The metal liquid alloy then absorbs into his skin, turning him into bright yellow. He continues to say, "I feel as though the alloy is sinking right into my skin. I need to get out of here. I need to go to a doctor. I need to go to a hospital." So then he leaves. On his way to the hospital, Raxton says to himself that this is strange because he doesn't feel any pain. Then, while he was crossing the street, a car comes and he tells him to get off the road, and yelling at Mark. And then Mark Raxton gets pissed. He gets mad, and then he punches the hood of the car. However, he doesn't realize he crushed it with his hands. He realized that the metal liquid alloy has given him super strength and made him powerful. And even though his fingers are functional and stuff, he still feels super strong and all that. So he decided to become a supervillain. He becomes Molten Man and believes that he can rule over the world and becomes a villain. And then he obviously has a fight with Spider-Man. But at the end of the issue, Spider-Man ties him up and leaves him for the police. So yeah, that's how he defeated. And now that's his origin. Let's get into his powers and abilities. Molten Man has super strength, so he can lift up to 40 tons, and he obviously probably has enhanced physical abilities, and yeah. He can also withstand the temperature of 500 degrees Fahrenheit, He's also really intelligent. Like I said, he was a lab assistant, so he's a scientist. He's pretty smart dude. He can also emit dangerous and deadly levels of radiation as well as heat. Obviously, later on, he has the ability to shoot heat and stuff, and that's why he was picked to be the fire element for Spider-Man Far From Home. Anyway, now that Molten Man's done, let's get into Hydron Man. Hydron Man was created by Dennis O'Neil and John Romita Jr., and he first appeared in the Amazing Spider-Man issue 112 in January 1981. And his real name was Morris Bench. He worked as a crewman on a cargo ship called the Bulldog. The Bulldog was doing a powerful experiment. They were lowering a powerful experiment generator into the ocean. Mr. Whitman, who's the man in charge of the Bulldog, believed that this wouldn't be safe, that the experiment will go wrong. That's why he needed Spider-Man there. So Spider-Man was there to make sure people safe. Spider-Man asked, why can't you just cancel it? But Mr. Whitman said they can't because they're under contract. They have to do this experiment. And then the experiment went wrong. It totally did went wrong, which caused Morris Bench to accidentally get knocked off the boat and into the ocean and right next to the generator. So yeah, Spider-Man, he makes sure everyone's safe and stops the people be safe so that no one gets killed. But then a crew worker who was just playing poker with Morris Bench says Spider-Man that he accidentally got knocked off into the ocean. So Spider-Man jumps into the water and saves him. So he does, and he gets better. And then Morris Bench, he was in his room cleaning himself up, drying up, but he can't stop. He can't stop getting wet for some reason. Like, he was drying up, no matter how many towels he was using, he was still wet. He then later finds out that he has water abilities. Obviously, water powers and stuff like that. And he thinks he's a freak, and he blames Spider-Man. So he decided to take his vengeance out on Spider-Man, and he becomes Hydron Man. So he goes after Spider-Man. And obviously, at the end of the issue, Spider-Man and Hydron Man do have a fight. And Spider-Man wins, obviously. He punches Hydron Man so hard that he splashes into water, and then he evaporates into mist by the weather or whatever. So yeah, there's Hydron Man's origin and his first issue. So without further ado, let's get into powers and abilities. Hydron Man has the ability to turn his entire body into liquid, and he can make shapes and constructs out of water. He can also go to small openings into liquid and stuff, and he can control water, obviously. And in his water form, he can increase his mass and create tidal waves. Bullets and all that stuff can't hurt him, they just go through him and stuff. So yeah, and he can turn it to ice and steam. So yeah, that's Hydro Man's powers and abilities. And there you go, Hydro Man and Molten Man's origin, and I explained what the hell is going on with the elementals since Marvel changes it for the films, yeah. So, yeah, there's my video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Please hit the bell to get new notification on my videos. Please like, share this with your friends and family. Comment down below if you're excited for Spider-Man Far From Home. I know I am. So, yeah, peace.